Hello and welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns. Today we have another match of the A Link to the Past Randomizer Crosskeys tournament. We are in Swiss round 2, the matchup is Andy vs Bonta, and commentators for this will be Clearmouse and Wallkicks. Say hello!
Hello, Clearmouse.
Hello, Wallkicks. How's it going?
I am fabulous because I already have some Crosskeys behind me today, and I now get to sit back and watch these two play really fun modes such as Crosskeys.
Play, huh? you know, if you're gonna catch any match, probably for this round Swiss, it's Andy versus Bonta. Like this is, I can't believe that the Crosskeys tournament has only been going on for 2 weeks, and already we're at the finals of brackets, right? We got Andy versus Bonta. This is going to be one of those matches. Oh, are we still in week 2? Sorry, I didn't realize. You could have fooled me. And not only, by the way, this is a 0-1 match of all of our
Yeah, like who would have thought the most hype matchup of the week would be between two runners who are 0-1? As you mentioned, Bonta, clearly the savior of Rando with some of the work that he does behind the scenes, also an incredible runner on his own right. And then Andy, who is well known.
Is well known. That's to put it lightly, yes.
Probably the biggest name when it comes to A Link to the Past Randomizer. So this is going to be an incredible race, and I'm really looking forward to it. And thank you, Clearmouse, for commentating with me.
Oh no, this is going to be an awesome time, Wallkicks. I am also looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to talking with you for the next, hopefully not too long, even though, it's not your company. I do not wish, terrible things on these runners.
I mean,
let's go with that.
What if I wish terrible things on the runners, though?
Oh, well, I mean, then sure, you can be the scapegoat. That's fine. When they come in for the interview. Yeah.
I mean, we're only going to get one of them, so it's fine.
So we're going to get Bonta, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Bonta's going to be the one that joins us for the post-race interview. So talking Crosskeys tournament, as you mentioned, we are in week 2 of the Swiss round. Not the usual kind of tournament you see with the qualifiers into a bracket. This is Swiss, meaning 168 people who signed up are all going to play a number of opponents over 8 weeks. And then the top records will move into brackets. We're looking for the top 16 runners for brackets. And that means 6-2 is the record you want to have, because that'll guarantee you a spot in the tiebreaker race. So starting 0-1, you're already not looking great. Whoever loses this match is going to be behind the 8 ball and basically in they have to win now mode.
Yeah, I mean, can you believe it though? Like, someone's gonna be between Andy and Bonta. Someone's gonna be 0-2. Like, that's just nuts.
Yeah, like someone sitting at 0-2 is gonna be looking at their next opponent, and they're gonna see Andy or Bonta, and they're gonna think, "What did I do to deserve this?"
Well, hopefully it'll be quick and painless for the rest of them. And yeah, as you said, so 168, which is actually tremendous turnout, I think, for Crosskeys. Certainly, a very strong showing this year. But we're cutting down to 16. It's actually a pretty steep cut.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough bracket to get into, but looks like we're off. Both runners going to start over at Link's house. Andy going to take probably the more traditional opening round of Crosskeys, which is do a hula-hand over to the Witch's Hut and then head over, or fake flipper to the Witch's Hut and then set up a hula-hand over at the Fairy Cave. Bonta, meanwhile, doing the traditional Uncle starts.
Yeah, I think this is probably more or less common, although I'm not sure how much Crosskeys Bonta plays, but certainly a very common opening, at least for him. Andy, it looks like, it's very traditional. I think most, correct me if I'm wrong, Wallkicks, but I think most people like to start at Link's house. We do see a couple of spicier starts with a Sanctuary, but probably not as common for this tournament. Yeah,
this is largely people like to start here. Again, just it gives them an out-of-the-way entrance, which today is our old man save and quit point. That's a little bad. And it also gives them a drop-down that can be a little bit out of the way, while at the same time they can hula-hand, get a little bit of money, so they kind of have a good starting... They have a good starting base to work with.
Yeah, so early resources, of course, in Crosskeys is very important, right? Early money always just means that if you ever stumble upon a bomb shop, you get some free bomb. Or not free, you get 50. The bombs cost 50 rupees, but you know, it's at least you have the option of being able to buy the bombs.
You have the money, yes, and that's always kind of good. Andy finding the uncle drop down here at the fairy cave while Bonta learned that our escape is vanilla today, so vanilla sanctuary.
Yeah, and Bonta not only did get an early bomb drop. Oh, bushcrafts are also dropping bombs as well. That's certainly very nice. That's going to be, you know, money's typically a proxy for bombs, but you know, Bonta just got them outright.
Yeah, that's ideal. Like that's what you can do. Oh, and we have a connector, and Bonta's just going to say, you know what? I'm going to take this right off the bat. This is aggressive.
And Bonta's heading straight back in. He's like, you know what? I like my Moogle form. Give me back.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fair, but like, it's not uncommon to see yourself take a connector and like pop out of an area that you can't get back into, maybe because it's locked by a glove. So I'm surprised he took it like that quickly, was just that gung-ho about it. Do find
more vanilla. Yeah, more vanilla drop-down location. Well, drop-down/cave locations. Interesting. But it looks like there's nothing, at least on Lumberjack, so no need to panic about finding 2 Castle Tower small keys in the near future.
So you say that, so we're gonna find them immediately, right?
I know. Yeah, it's gonna be some other. You know, it's gonna be like some super important entrance at the vanilla Castle Tower entrance, and they're gonna have to beat Agafor, and it's just like, man.
Oh man, that'd be the dream.
Dream is that your idea of a dream? Well, Kicks, I would like to.
Because I'm watching it. I'm not playing it.
That is a good point.
I can be chat.
In the commentary booth, well, Kicks, we're supposed to be wishing well for these runners, you know. It's you know, even though these guys are
wish well. I wish for 2 exceptional runners at this game who have extreme knowledge to be pushed to their limits, and what better way to do that than to give them a terrible seed?
Couldn't we just, you know, hope for like early boosts and just have them show off their excellent execution? I believe Bonta and Andy are very well versed in being able to use the boots effectively.
Very true. I'm pretty sure both are very good at hovering when need to. To actually talk about some of the items that we got, Andy did pick up an Ice Palace Big Key. We do have to talk about the race a little bit. Andy did pick up an Ice Palace Big Key at the Mire Shed, which was in the cave north of Lake Hylia, and that's about it. And he also has a cape that he got from the uncle, I think the uncle chest.
Yeah, and meanwhile though, it doesn't actually look like there has been too many other, I guess, like items of interest. But by the way, thank you in advance. And throughout the race to our trackers, Sammy Moss and Super Aardvark, they're going to be clicking the buttons behind the scenes, going to definitely keep us honest. You know, assuming we're supposed to actually be, you know, talking about the race and stuff.
It's true, and you know, I'm gonna do my best, but I make no promises. There's an Ice Palace, nothing we can do about that. It's gross with its location.
Yeah, and so luckily, no fire source so far, right? Which means that they don't have to at least make the attempt, a cursory attempt of trying to at least go in. On to finding the well. This is going to be pretty nice. I always want to find these 5-item caves early on. It just needs more resources and potentially some more progression. Well, hopefully more progression. Oh dear. Speaking of Castle Tower small keys.
But that glove, though, is a little bit better.
Yeah, that's definitely. It's one of the big 4 or 5 items that we always want to find Crosskeys. Hopefully early, right? It's like a glove, a sword, boots, moon pearl, right? Basically, anytime you want to take a connector, like it's one of those items that once you have it, you can like at least potentially get some way back, right? You won't get locked out.
Yeah, and it does well. It's like having an early glove means you're not isolating entrances that you're kind of walking past and thinking, God, I wish I had a glove for that.
Yeah, and I think Andy also found the library. Was that a red cane on there?
It was a red cane. So yeah, okay. Cane of Samaria is on library, so the boots will be very, very likely required this seed. I can't imagine. Yeah. Can't imagine we're not gonna find boots along the way somewhere.
You know, well, Kix, I would actually agree with you. Had I not gone through the whole main tournament, you know, a couple months ago, where it was like, you know, you see the super important item on the library, and you're like, oh man, like that's definitely, you know, boots are gonna be correct. And then of course, you know, hour and 10 minutes later, you're boots go mode basically, and it was so hopeful at the beginning of the season.
That's never happened to me in the main tournament. I don't know
course,
what you're talking about.
Ooh, Bonta actually found another super nice item. Found our first sword in the Kakariko Bomb Shop entrance. Andy, though, looks like he's actually following connected that Bonta initially, I think, took over to East Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, but as a bunny, not able to do a whole lot. Like, you saw that it was the bomb shop, or not the bomb shop, the chess game, excuse me. But as a bunny, you can't open those chests. And
what about as a pug? Posing as a bunny.
You know what? I'd allow it.
Okay, all right.
I don't know if the game will allow it, but I'll allow it.
Well, I mean, your word is obviously the final say, Walkings.
Oh my god.
I know.
I've never had this much power before.
Yeah, this is the power of being in the commentary booth.
Looks like Andy's going to continue up. One of the, I guess, maybe slightly negative things about how he routed this just now was that he did isolate the entrance up in the forest, which we know is Misery Mire. So this is a little bit of a longer walk, a little bit less efficient overall.
Yeah, and everything is just going to feel a little bit more sluggish until we, are able to find those boots and, be able to dash around, right? One of the, of course, I think, one of the nice quirks about Crosskeys is that, if you, assuming you find yourself in the dark world, you get to do a lot of bunny walking, right? And it was actually very cute. However, after like maybe half an hour of that, you really wish you could go a little bit faster.
Yeah, and you don't want to see a scene where you're forced to bunny walk somewhere in order to find something like your moon pearl. Mm-hmm. That can always be kind of gross. I think by process of eliminations, the drop down that is behind Agate 2 is going to be the magic bat, and that's kind of the worst one because not only does it require you to climb GT just for one item, it also requires having an item for it, and you never know when you want to do that.
Yeah, not to mention, it's actually a pretty long check, right, just for that one item. You gotta sit through that animation and get cursed by that bat, and yeah. Meanwhile, Bonta looks like he's found another set of, I guess, 7 item caves, 5 here up top and 2 in the bottom. He did find a shovel, so that's gonna be pretty nice when he goes back to Kakariko.
Our first big key tower of Hera. It's always nice to have, especially for people who like to Hera pot. They don't have to worry about isolating that chest anymore.
Yeah, and of course, the big key to Hera is one of those more traditional big keys that, if we could actually go up the tower the intended way.
What? You mean that's actually a thing you can do?
It's amazing for how much we're allowed to do in Crosskeys, and yet...
I would thought at this point the only logical way to complete Hera is by Hera potting.
I mean, okay, like you have to wait for hookshot. I mean, these guys, once they get the boost, right, they don't need no hookshot. they're gonna look at that Tower Hera big key, and they're gonna go fast.
Like they don't need a hookshot until they're staring in Swamp Palace trying to get to the back for that crystal. And they're gonna be like, how can I skip the hookshot now? Checkmate hovers.
Hookless Swamp feels just as bad in Crosskeys as it does in any other mode.
Anyways, Bonta now gonna head over to the eastern area. We'll pick up his not a whole lot that Andy got. I'm a little surprised that this is the first decision Bonta took, considering he has the glove. So, like, I would think South Shore would be more appealing in this scenario because you can actually clear out the entrances, but I am not Bonta.
Yeah, that is, that's actually a very good point because, we got South Shore, as you mentioned, with those gloves, you don't have to really isolate anything. He can take a little bit longer trip over to the Ice Rock Cave area, so there are 3 entrances available to him, as well as the 50 Rupee Rock Cave, and he can keep going over to the desert area as well.
Meanwhile, I'm not going to follow along that connector. With being a Kakariko, that makes a lot of sense. You want to clear out all your Kakariko entrances. This is easily the largest concentration of entrances in the game, and you kind of want to take care of it a little bit early. Did find TR left, while Bonta found TR right. Andy going to choose not to check the 2 items here, which makes sense. You don't have anything, don't have a small key to make getting vanilla big key chest easy, and that pokey can really cause some problems
Yeah,
early
I was
game.
gonna say, like, Turtle Rock isn't really a place, that the game intended you to be with only 3 hearts green mail. Just a thought. So there's probably a reason why they made it after they lost the Crystal Dungeon of the game.
Everything there hits like a truck. It's ridiculous. I don't think there's a single enemy that doesn't do like 4 hearts on green mail.
Yeah, that's that is not a pleasant place to be for sure. All right, it looks like our runners just kind of retrace each other's steps. Andy did pick up the glove and the sword, so he is well equipped.
Yeah, and this is turning out to be, you're kind of seeing the difference in routing, and you're seeing Bonta just being just a little bit quicker. So maybe the uncle start is the way to go. I've been lied to this entire time.
It's very possible that is the way to go for this particular seed. Who knows, what's going to happen in the next seed, right?
True. So Bonta will probably be the first to give us kind of some new checks that we haven't seen. I'm likely going to just head over to South Shore at this point.
Yeah, it looks like Andy is just going to finish up Kakariko. I have actually misplaced how many connectors there are. It's certainly, I can also see if Andy just runs out of, more like cursory checks in Kakariko, he can just go back and take that connector. Or, to go back to TR left.
Yeah, I mean, I have... Like, you have TR left. There's also Hyrule Castle and Spectacle Rock Cave.
Oh,
and
right.
then,
Yeah, that's right. We did see those. Mm-hmm.
Andy will find Paradox here momentarily. And I actually don't think Bonta did the south houses in the houses in South Kakariko. I think he took the Paradox connector, the one on the south that you would need the mirror to come back to, and said thanks but no thanks. So a little interesting there.
Yeah, it looks like actually he is gonna walk all the way over to the Ice Rock Cave area. Feels a little bit bad without boots. He is also on 4 hearts, by the way. Actually 2.5 working hearts. He can take 1 hit from the crab and still be okay. But it's the game certainly does not, I think, intend for you to be here this early. And mainly because in the vanilla game, right, there is the Ice Rod here, which is a pretty powerful weapon, especially early game. So they really make sure this place is well guarded.
Yeah, with these crabs that do 2 hearts, but with the sword it makes it a little bit easier. And the crabs overall played pretty nicely. Oh, and that glove is already paying off.
This is a good decision here by Bonta. No magic looks like... Oh, that bomb was so unfortunate, but Bonta cleaned up those mini Moldorms so well.
Another 5-item cave, getting plenty of money.
Yeah.
For our trouble.
Holy cow. Okay, so it was really just a thief's hideout in disguise, I guess. Yeah, so this is actually going to save Bonta a little bit more time as compared to Andy, just because Andy did the more traditional or commonly seen hula hand, got himself a couple extra bucks, but Bonta just kind of stumbled upon, the thief's hideout or Money Moldorm cave in the back and basically picked up like 5 keys.
Yeah, so Bonta has Zora money, and that's always really good.
Yeah,
I was just saying, Andy looks like he was taking the same connector that Bonta did, so...
Yeah, it looks like actually he didn't quite bomb jump over as intended, so maybe he just decided to, just roll the punches, right, and just follow through.
Yeah, that was likely a similar thing you see if you pick up the item from like the mini Moldorm in Hera when trying to Herapot with the bomb, and it kind of just messes up your bomb trajectory. That actually happens in Paradox Cave as well. If you pick up, I believe, the item from the middle Moldorm, which can be hard to determine which one that is. It will mess up your bomb trajectory, and you will probably fall the first time. Yeah.
This game, so it has so many surprising things. There are just sometimes these like random things that you would just never think about that totally just affects like the gameplay and in execution.
Andy doing the correct thing when finding Eastern, and that is to turn around and walk away.
I see someone is opinionated or has an opinion about Eastern Palace.
I have very strong opinions about Eastern Palace.
This early, I certainly can understand why Andy potentially may not want to follow through. He has no boost, he has no bow, right? He has no big key. Not that he needs a lamp, but I mean, there's just not anything really that's super appealing. But of course, we're gonna say this now, and then we're gonna find like super amount of progression.
So it looks like Andy's gonna go into this dark room, which I'm pretty sure is the Death Mountain entrance. So Andy will be able to have his save and quit point at Witch's Hut after this. And indeed it is. So you can, if you're unsure, like obviously in Crosskeys with all the entrances shuffled, if you go find a dark cave, you're like, oh god, which one is it? If you have a sword and kind of tap up instead of just holding up, you can kind of determine which cave you're on, because if you're tapping up, you're not going to jump down. And if you tap up and you kind of see that you're not moving, you know, okay, I'm at the Death Mountain entrance cave. And in Crosskeys, the back of the Death Mountain entrance cave always has to lead to somewhere on West Death Mountain.
Yeah, otherwise, I think returning the old man is going to be a bit more challenging.
Imagine if he just pops you out somewhere else and you're like,
oh, dude.
How the heck do I get him?
And oh man, and considering how slow he moves with you, oh jeez, dude, that would be so painful. Oh, do we have divergence between a European and American here? Maybe this is just different.
Potentially. One thing that I find a little interesting is that Bonta is just straight going into this without even checking the other entrance that was here. Or at least I don't think he did. Kind of to go off of what Amazing Ampharos in chat is saying. You know, if you find like a dungeon in an area where you have multiple checks and like you can't clear the dungeon initially, you maybe want to look around at the other checks, maybe see if you can snag like the big key or something that would help you complete the dungeon a little bit quicker before going in. But I think in this case, Bonta is just going straight.
Yeah, no, Bonta is just in exploration mode at this point. And for what as well, okay, actually, he did pick up the blue mail, which is a little bit unfortunate just in general for Crosskeys, when you don't have a mirror, right? Because chances are, as you said, if you still have entrances left in the vicinity, did we just find a vanilla ice rod in Ice Rod Cave?
Vanilla ice. That's
well, you know, at least it wasn't a vanilla entrance though, like up here in Death Mountain.
That's true.
But, not oftentimes you get to pick up the ice rod there.
You were talking about the blue mail and being in dungeons.
Oh, right, yeah, because, you know, we don't have the mirror right now, and if Bonta wants to kind of try and nope out of the dungeon, you know, earlier, because he can't clear it, it's going to be a little bit more painful to death warp out, especially in Easter Palace, the first dungeon of the intended game, right? So, enemies here don't really do that much damage.
Yeah, I mean, luckily with where he's going, he'll be able to take the death warp at the vanilla big key chest in Eastern Palace, which is probably the most painful area of the game, minus the Igors. But
oh yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Shocking to nobody who never dips Eastern Palace, pretty empty so far.
Yeah, we still have one more check, wall kicks.
You know what? I'm already
here. Maybe we'll find a big key. We don't know.
I'm already calling it a win for the people who never dip Eastern Palace until they can full clear it.
Oh,
Andy finding the other rod.
That is actually super convenient for Andy. Not that I have any doubts for him to be able to do these dark rooms, but you know, having the fire rod and actually a little bit of magic means that he can actually light these torches up here just to make his life a little bit easier.
Oh, we do get a big key to desert, so okay, not bad. Andy picking up a different big key, a little bit, you know, not as good of a big key, but okay. There was some maybe progression in an early Eastern dip, maybe.
We certainly do not know if Desert Palace is going to be a crystal, but if it is, that early Eastern dip potentially could be advantage for Bonta. Although, you know, like, Andy did find the big key to Skullwoods. I mean, we actually have a lot of fetch quest big keys too, right? Like, we have the big key to Ice, we have the big key to Skullwoods. These are always going to be big keys that aren't going to be required for you to actually, like, full clear the, to get to the boss. But, you know, it's certainly nicer to have that big key in your possession when you go to the dungeon, so you don't have to come back for it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you kind of consider them almost fetch questy big keys at this point. Andy doing the Dark World West Death Mountain checks. Doesn't look like they'll be finding anything of value. That C-shaped house is going to be awfully lonely for a little while. There is not really a way to super bunny your way into that without the mirror. So Andy now going to check the back of the old man save and quit point. Not in logic, but you know you're here. You know this is the main entrance isn't the best one, but maybe this will take you somewhere nice, like there. That's not terrible.
But it's not that useful. I mean, well, okay, we're certainly gonna need a moon pearl at some point.
Yeah.
And that might make at least that connector a little bit more palatable. Without the hammer, though, of course, we also really can't get to very many locations.
True. That becomes more viable, like you said, once we get a moon pearl, and that's kind of with our current starting points. That's kind of what you hope for. Is you have one that is in the Dark World somewhere, and that's not a bad Dark World spot if there is a Dark World spot. Andy gonna do backup escape, which we haven't seen from Bonta. There's our moon pearl.
That is so he can head right back into that connector. Of course, it's just very typical of a Crosskeys. Is I really would like item X, and then 2 minutes later you go find it, and you're like, I was just there. I really could have used that 2 minutes ago.
Oh yeah. So it looks like, where is Andy gonna head to? With this glove, I suspect he might check Death Mountain entrance before heading up back to Dark Death Mountain. Because we know the connector here at Lumberjack House takes you to Floating Island.
Oh, right, yeah, and with that moon pearl, Andy, among other places, I've also found chess game up there, and of course, with this money, he is going to be able to actually afford it and open the chest this time.
Hooray!
It is technically, by the way, in logic that as a bunny, you can talk to NPCs. However, it is not within logic, and you are not actually able to open the chest as a bunny. So you can get scammed out of your money pretty quickly if this is not something on your radar.
It's true. Andy did find another connector that could have potentially taken him away from his initial plan, but it just leads us to the laser bridge exit. Not something that is very useful at the moment, particularly without a mirror.
Yeah, and it's also kind of unfortunate that Andy found the bottom. This is probably, I think, one of the more painful connectors to walk through, because you have to go all the way up. You can't just drop down, right?
Yeah.
And no boost to really help speed things up a bit.
Plus, it's not one that, like, if you're playing just a non-entrance seed, you never see that cave. So, for people who are playing entrance for the first time, that may get tripped up by the fact that, hey, that is an actual connector that could lead somewhere.
So Bonta's here.
Making agate towers as bright as possible.
He had half a heart. he had one full heart when he was dealing with Ball and Jangars. He got himself down to half a heart. I think it's probably a good wise decision to not take a death early.
That hookshot cave is going to be a little gross because I think Andy was more hoping to drop down. It's a big key to Turtle Rock. I think Andy was more hoping to drop down and get chess game out of the way, and I think he's going to keep doing that. Yeah. So that hookshot cave connector is now a little bit out of the way for him, but nothing too bad. We do get a small key to pod, which I believe is our second.
Yeah, I think we saw Bonta pick up a small key to pod earlier. And, pod keys, there are 6 of them in the item pool. It's certainly very plentiful. And I don't think we found pod yet, right?
No, we have not seen pod.
Okay, but once they eventually get there, they're going to be well prepared to open many key doors.
Tracker indicating that we've actually seen 3 pod keys. I missed one. Rip.
It's okay. That's why we have such excellent trackers to be our eyes and memory for us.
Oh, Andy's going to set up a bomb jump to get across to the TR big chest. This is a little bit of a finicky one. You have to kind of place the bomb in a way that you're going to clip up against the rail, and the rail will give you the extra distance that you need to get across that pit, which a normal bomb jump would not put you through normally. But Andy getting it first try, no problem.
Yeah, and of course he is rewarded and replenished his bomb supply that he only needed one for. This is also, we get to see another kind of like nice feature about Crosskeys is that, typically, when you're here in the vanilla game, right, you've got maybe sword beams, you've got Kina Samaria, you can hit those, maybe you can get a boomerang, in Crosskeys, you're here early, you get to be a lot more resourceful with your item choices.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't have the luxury of resources, especially early on. Andy gonna check the left side. This is a quick way back to Kakariko. And I'm pretty sure he knows that, so I think we might be... I think he wants this bomb. Oh, nope, he wants to get sniped instead.
That green rupee looks so tempting.
I'm not sure what he was going for. Like, I wonder if there was just... Yeah, I don't know what he would have... He was hoping to get there. I don't know what's under those pots. Things I don't normally pick up in the game.
It is a bomb is in the middle one, right? But I'm not. I thought it was just maybe green rupees on the sides.
Ah, maybe.
Yeah. All right. So looks like Bonta made his way also to the back of Escape, so he's also picked up some Moon Pearl. So we do have you know, as we've seen through on Andy's side multiple times, as well as Bonta's, do have Dark World access. We are still looking for that hammer though that would give us some more probably traditional Dark World access. You know, we actually can access, you know, like the portals and such things like that instead of taking connectors. But you know, we're in Crosskeys, so like, why would you want traditional Dark World access?
Because traditional Dark World access is still really nice.
I mean, if you know, we can go back to playing hard standard if you want.
Look, I'm not saying, you know, taking cool connectors is awesome and, you know, you can find your way back from one place to another quickly, but just still being able to pop into the Dark World is pretty pog. Bonta looks like he's walking over, going to be checking the Hyrule Castle entrances. Be interesting to see if he checks the chests here.
Yeah, and I think, you know, so without the Sewer's Key, right, only one chest in Hyrule Castle is going to be in Logic, which is the one right before, I guess, like going downstairs. But, yes. You know, like, it's certainly very common for people to, you know, keep going, saves come a key. You know, well, I guess we'll see what Bonta decides to do.
I was say we won't be seeing that here, obviously, because we just did the back of Escape.
Oh yeah, that is true.
So that, you know, we're
Thank
we're
you
not
for reminding me of that, Lucas.
You know?
I just totally forgotten. Even though we just watched this like 2 minutes ago.
Here to help. But yeah, so this will be some quick checks for Bonta to decide. Like you said, won't be in Logic, and you know, a different quirk in Crosskeys that you see in entrance versus non-entrance is that entrance seed still uses a different logic to where the Fire Rod does not put chests like Dark Cross into logic. The fire entrance logic still uses the you are logically required to have the lamp for all dark rooms, period. Not that I think that'll stop Bonta.
That's absolutely true. It's not going to stop Bonta. It's not going to stop Andy. You know, these guys. I think you can throw like anything at him, and things will still be fine. Uh-oh.
Goodbye, Bonta.
Everything's fine. No, there's no need to panic.
We knew you well.
Luckily, Andy, though, was just mere screens behind Bonta, or maybe mere screens ahead, I'm not sure. But either way, we're going to be able to pick up right where Bonta left off, and we're going to, you know, Andy's going to show us what's actually here downstairs in Zelda Cell.
I just checked, and yeah, Bonta's stream died.
Epic hands. I'm sure he'll be back when he can. And he's setting
and someone mentioned something about Breath of the Wild soundtrack for Andy, and yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, but Andy, I know, also usually likes to talk and kind of talk out his route.
Yeah, he talks. He said he wanted to be on Restream Audio, but unless Bonta comes back, we stick to Andy for the moment.
Okay. We did pick up our third Meyer small key in Zelda Cell, so that is 2 Meyer small keys that are not in Logic, meaning our left side fire locked in Meyer, locked behind that Hyrule Castle small key.
Yeah, and this is actually something that I think, you know, key logic in Crosskeys, I would actually consider to be very underrated. You know, a lot of people, you know, like to think that, you know, it's, you know, logic is just a suggestion, right? It's almost, you know, can be almost like a meme, but if you are aware, right, of certain chests and other dungeons, for example, in this case, Meyer, right side, you know, being kind of locked out, that is something that you could potentially consider, you know, when you're, you know, only a couple more items like left for go mode.
Exactly.
You know, and where your things can logically be.
We are back on Bonta's side. Did see that Hyrule Castle left pops us out at Turtle Rock. That's actually that's pretty nice to know. That can be an out-of-the-way entrance that can be isolated pretty hard, so don't have to worry about that. Andy picking up a heart container at Dark Cross. And now looks like he will be checking out the other Hyrule Castle connectors as well. Did not see where Hyrule Mid pops off, but Andy will show that to us here in a moment. Oh, it's just desert
Well,
road.
yeah. So I guess so I think Andy hasn't been over to the desert area. So this is actually one of those potential times where that one connector that most people consider to be pretty useless could actually, potentially be useful if you've never been over there.
Yeah,
Other
but
than that, you're just never going to take it again.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Andy gets popped out of a spot that he can't get back from, so he's going to actually take this over to the left, where we know that. Oh, don't die! That was a lot scarier than it looked.
Yeah, I don't think Andy's found Green Mail either. So, facing off against Lionel's on Green Mail and only 4 hearts is something not pleasant.
Like he did the thing where it looks like it's safe, where you take the damage from the fire shot that the Lionel does and use the iframes to kind of get past the Lionel, but he was really close to having his iframes run out, and he was still kind of on top of that Lionel, so that was definitely dangerous.
Of course, he is rewarded with some potentially good map knowledge, assuming he does decide to eventually do a map check. Because we did find a map to Tower of Hera.
Okay, I'd be like, it's a map. I wouldn't I don't pay attention to those maps. Andy with a terrific bomb throw.
I believe that was first try wall kicks. I don't know what you were watching.
Yeah, like I said, terrific. Did you think I was being silly or making a joke? I would never.
Of course not. I mean, I also don't know why Andy decided to not gamble. I mean, he needs our money, doesn't he? This is like the fastest way we can potentially increase our earnings. Please, ZeldaSpeedRuns and the Crosskeys tournament and all its affiliates does not condone gambling. And that is, please, and if you decided to, partake in these type of games, please play responsibly.
Alright, where is Bonta going now? I think he is headed towards probably one of the other connectors that we haven't seen in the Kakariko area yet, which include Spectral Rock Cave and the other entrance to Paradox. I don't think we've seen the top one, and I think that's where Bonta's headed.
You think we're gonna find food soon? That'd be kind of nice.
No,
right?
no. I'm curious to see where exactly we're kind of expected to go. Bonta's actually going to go to the south. One that's fair. They put some near the village, but and this might be our logical, what we're supposed to do next, because we've kind of taken care of most of Light World entrances at this point. There's really nothing in the Light World left for us, so it's kind of time to start exploring some Dark Worlds.
Yeah, looks like though Bonta wants to make at least a North Dark World loop. So this could be, further. I guess we don't have a mirror, so maybe this is going to be like a peek on Bumper Cave, which of course we're not going to have to follow that connector, and potentially venture into Skull Woods or Village of Outcasts.
That's probably my guess. Meanwhile, Andy is taking the other connector that we have to Dark World to kind of do the South Dark World check. We do find the bomb shop, and I believe that said Mire and Palace of Darkness.
So those
5, 6.
Yeah, and the fact that we have a couple of pod keys already certainly could be a good indicator that there's going to be some progression. Of course, that means that we are going to have to find the pod big key and the Mire big key, 2 big keys that haven't always been the most commonly found, I think, in Crosskeys seeds.
You get yet another pod key though here on Laser Bridge, and a bow.
Ooh,
hello,
and a bow. Yeah. So now Andy can go right back and, do Eastern Palace. Or I guess we still need the key.
Yeah. Still need the big key.
This is going to be nice, though, when he goes and eventually finds Pod, because that is going to open up a couple more entrances on the Bowlock side.
Yep, and meanwhile, Bonta did find Swamp Palace up at the Dark Lumberjack House. Nothing he can do about that yet. I have not found the dam, nor do we have anything to even, get past the initial obstacle. So we'll come back to that later. Is now doing Skull Woods. Skull Woods and entrance can be kind of mean because the entrances are shuffled amongst themselves, and you could run into a situation where this entrance and the one that the left one that you walk out of take you to the same spot, and then you would have to drop down to get to the other chests in Skullwoods.
Yeah, Bonta did have a very good statue room, though. Those Gyptos don't have to always play that nice.
No, that can be really mean. Andy does find the other end of Spectacle Rock and will be picking up the first bottle for the seed.
Yeah, and I think Andy, he did find Sikit. I just don't quite remember where, but he knows where it is. So eventually, when he goes back, he's gonna be able to cash that bottle in.
Sikit is on the mountain.
All right.
The Skullwoods today, not a mean Skullwoods. We were able to get to the back, which was a connector, which took us to wherever it did. Ice Palace.
Ice Palace, yes. Not
Andy
sure how useful it's going to be. Ooh,
Andy's in Thieves Town.
Mm-hmm.
Did not pay attention to where the Spectacle Rock connector took him, but we have found Thieves Town, and we found powder.
Yeah, looks like no big key to be able to keep going. So most likely this is going to be front 4 and then Death Warp out. It's not going to be too bad. He does have the blue mail, but he has a handful of hearts, so it shouldn't take too long.
Yeah, I mean, the seed has actually turned quite healthy early on. We're already up to almost 10 hearts on Andy's side.
Yeah.
Which,
of course, again, not something necessarily you want to see without a mirror, so you really hope that, this comes sooner rather than later. But at least these guys are able to make do with what they have. Oh! All right. Speaking of traditional Dark World axes, Bonta actually has found a pretty good weapon as well. Found our hammer.
Yeah, that is a very nice thing to find. Andy looking like he's going to head up to check the Hyrule Castle entrance, and will be very sad when he finds out that it's one of the hammer ones.
That's right, yeah, because Bonta came up here early, he found Mimic Cave, so this is going to be something that Bonta and Andy are going to both come back for. Potentially. Or maybe it was Spike Cave. Yes, but it needed a hammer.
You needed a hammer, yes. Bonta, meanwhile, picking up the big key to Swamp Palace. Again, another quote-unquote fetch quest big key, but one that is more peace of mind that you're not skipping that chest once you actually do clear Ice Palace. Or Swamp Palace. I know my dungeons. Don't mind me. Let's see, so where are our runners headed to now? Bonta's probably just going to continue down south and head over towards the village. Andy he's heading also back to Paradox. I wonder if he's going to be interested in checking the other entrance out of that, or if he's just going to take the knowledge that he has and knowing that the bottom one leads to the other end of Dark World.
Speaking of swamp, we might be more interested in finding that dam sooner rather than later. We did also find a small key to Swamp Palace. I guess we don't have flippers either, though. We're still missing quite a bunch of stuff.
Yes, but that is always a very nice big key to have, or small key to have in your back pocket. The other end of Paradox, by the way, took us to Hammer Pegs.
And we don't have the hook shot, right? So we actually can't do like that fancy clip thing.
That cool new trick that I still haven't bothered learning, but I will learn at some point.
I think it just seems like a more matter of convenience than anything else. I don't really think it's going to be something that's super groundbreaking.
Well, I mean, if Andy had the hook shot, it would have been rather beneficial for him, because he would have actually just been able to pop right out and continue his village routing.
And then we would have been able to see, what. I guess we would have potentially had a overworld high five here on Bonta and Andy's side.
Bonta, I'm surprised that he is just saying, all right, here's a one-way connector that I can't get back from while I have 3 other entrances in village that I haven't seen. Let's check the connector anyways. So, hey, I mean, this could be big.
Bonta has decided to dive headfirst into all of his connectors so far, or at least most of them. So certainly, at least he's being consistent. Alright, where does this lead us?
All right.
Well, unfortunately, it's only a red shield. It looks like Bonta is not interested in picking it up.
No, but I mean, his route isn't actually disturbed all that much. He just has to do this walk back over here. You know, that could have his routing could have been much bigger, much more punished.
Yeah, speaking of, looks like Andy's actually in a very similar location.
That spiral cave, though, is a little unfortunate that it's that connector that leads to the top of Bumper Cave, because if you get the mirror, then that entrance is just slow to get to.
that is also something else that is another feature of Crosskeys, is that is, once you get up there in the dark world, if you have the mirror, that is actually an, in fact, entirely valid location. It's not, you know, it's something that can often be overlooked.
I love how Bonta, like, in his next entrance check here in the village, found another one-way connector, but this time said, let me finish these entrances off first.
Maybe he is just, you know, hedging his risks, right? Looks like we did find Desert Palace. Did he steal a small key, or did he actually find it somewhere?
He just found the small key that was at Checkerboard Cave at the Thieves' Center.
Oh,
so it was super convenient.
Finally, the seed actually gives us something that we would like to have before we actually go there. Oh, wow.
And that's important!
That is super good for Bonta. Yeah, that mirror is another one of those huge ticket items. So I guess he could go right back to Sprout Cave and check that. That mirror location.
Might as well. Although I think Bonta might be slightly more interested in seeing what these other connectors here in Desert lead.
Convenient full magic drop as well.
Yeah. So finally some nice items beginning to pop up. That mirror is one of the most powerful items in Crosskeys just for routing purposes. Andy with great North America aim, missing the fire rod shot.
You know, he has been consistent with his explosions and fire. Alright, I believe I've only seen him do it one time. Alright, we have all 3 shields already. So did we actually pick up anything off of Laser Bridge? Probably not, right?
Laser Bridge was the bow.
Oh yes, okay, all right. So Andy, I guess, has the cape and both is Bonta. But yeah, as you were saying, right, just like the fire rod, there's like no such thing as advanced logic. Doesn't put certain dark rooms in logic. You absolutely need the mirror shield or an invisibility item in order to access the items off of Laser Bridge. Because if you stumble upon that in Crosskeys and you're there with green mail, 3 hearts, no boots, or anything else, it's gonna be a little bit painful for you to get some items in progression off of Laser Bridge in that case.
Just learn the stutter step. It's easy.
Okay, it's easy. Right? just push the buttons at the right time. Got it.
Just do the thing. It's you got this. I believe in you.
Okay, so we'll write that alongside with the just go to where the items are. Okay, got it.
Well, one thing to note. I mean, it's. We don't care about the logical implications of it, Bonta, because we have our invincibility item. But well, no, ignore what I was about to say because we have our invincibility item that was in logic. I was going to say our 3rd shield was locked in the Desert Big chest, which was locked by the Eastern Big Key chest, which is lamp lock. Yada yada yada. Something about logic. Who cares? Our cape was in logic. Bonta finding Mimic Cave, conveniently enough, very close to Spike Cave. But we're not going to do Spike Cave right now. Who needs Spike Cave? Spike Cave doesn't exist.
Spike Cave, at this point, is it even possible for Bonta to get through? I mean, it's technically, I think, in logic, right? But we need some more... I guess he has enough health and magic in order to get through it. Maybe?
It's tough.
Like, because he has a cape, right? And I think cape drains magic a little bit more than the cane. Yeah.
It does. Okay, so Bonta now heading south. There was a connector down here. Oh, this was the other end of Spectral Rock, which chat told us leads to TR Bridge, which is where Thieves Town is. and that's really nice.
Yeah.
But Bonta's saying no to that right now.
Yeah, it looks like actually Bonta also. I think he also did see the bottle up on Spectre World. So there's not like much more of an incentive for him to also go there and pick up that bottle. Whereas for Andy, that was his first bottle, so he had more incentive to do so.
Yeah. And like, in something that you don't consider very often, but isn't going to apply to the seed, you can hookshot the hint tile to get across.
That is true.
But the item
If
blocks.
we had a hook shot.
If we had a hook shot, it would be beneficial. And if the entrances were, maybe not as nice as they were, but with the entrances, one of them in Kakariko, one of them in South Darkworld, neither of them are super hard to get to. Neither of them are really that bad. We won't be seeing that little tech right there. But as you mentioned, we don't need a stinking hook shot this seed until Swamp is a crystal.
And oh man, well, we already know 2 of our crystals. That just means that hopefully, that's less of a chance that Swamp's going to be a crystal. Bonta is actually doing some really nice boostless laser skips. Unfortunately, he kind of got sniped at the very end. But he got his 4th pot small key according to our tracker, and his bow as well. We are really, I think on Bonta's side, we're really interested in finding not only pod but also pod big key.
Yeah, I think finding pod is going to be you never know when you're going to find pod, but that's a priority here. Plus, with the mirror that we have, East Death Mountain is looking very spicy.
Oh yeah, that's true, because Bonta found that connector super early, right? Didn't have anything really to his name and decided to not follow through. But yeah, with that mirror, we're going to be able to check a whole lot more. Yep, oh yeah, hey, speaking of, another connector right over here. With that hammer, with the Moon Pearl, this is going to be a lot more accessibility for us as well.
Yeah, number of new entries here on Bonta's side. So, I mean, this has been, I don't want to say like a linear start, but, both runners have kind of been able to kind of cover each other's tracks pretty well. No one really has any sort of advantage at this point. Andy about to pick up his mirror. And so... yeah, I mean, we're just kind of waiting for our first big, we haven't seen GT, we haven't seen Pod, we haven't seen, oh, you know what Bonta can do here in this area?
What can you do, Walkix?
Ice Palace is at Eastern Palace.
It is here. Okay, that is true. I was actually just thinking that. It's like they picked up the Fire Rod, and they do have an Ice Palace. I think they could make some potential headway into that place. And the fact that they have they're on Blue Mail and have a couple more hearts than just 3 or 4 is gonna at least make things a bit safer for them.
Ideally, you'd also want a Cane of Samaria, but sometimes you're just not that lucky.
We saw the Cane of Samaria. Oh,
that's right.
Like 40 minutes ago, that there's going to be this nice important item at the library. That means we're going to be able to get booze. I'm still watching these guys pump right all throughout for the last 45 minutes.
I forgot about that. So now the boots are just going to be in Ice Palace.
Oh, perfect.
So riddle me this. Boots are in first chest Ice Palace. Do you leave immediately to go down to the library to get your Cane of Samaria so you can do the dungeon quicker?
Oh my gosh. Wallcakes, are we emulating chat now in the commentary booth about how badly these items can be placed?
Apparently we are. We did also find a vanilla pod, by the way.
How many villain locations has that been? 5? 6? We had 6 or something, 5 drop downs or something, right? That
we've had a number of drop downs that are vanilla, but that's not uncommon. Just because there's only there's only 8 of those. Yeah. But Bonta's only doing the first chest before just saying, all right, I'm going to go into Ice Palace, so that's a little bit interesting. Maybe hoping that he can kind of just do... Maybe hoping to find a pod big key in here so we can just, rush pod in one go.
That would be so swell.
Andy, by the way, is on East Death Mountain. I'm not quite sure how he found his way over here. This might... Oh, that was a desert entrance. Okay.
Bonta mostly been able to use bomb stress here to take care of the pen gators. Of course, showing that we don't need no stinking hook shots. until Swamp is crystal, and then we have to go find Hookshot.
It's what, like a 3 in 8 chance at this point that Swamp is a crystal?
Actually, we haven't even
That's some good odds.
We haven't found Hospital either, right? So we can't even
have
tell.
not.
We don't even know what the green pendant is.
Have not.
Oh, okay. So Andy is potentially okay. So this is gonna be pretty nice for him. Gonna pay a visit. It's gonna be a pretty efficient visit to both our fish friends.
Yep,
One of them's gonna take $5 from us. The other one is just requires like a rock or like a bush.
He just wants to play catch. Bonta showing off his European aim by missing one of the bombs.
His first try bomb setup. I understand. Oh man, see, without booze, Andy can't even bonk the wall and set up like a nice quick. Oh, okay. So our fish friend is super friendly. It looks like though not going to try at least visit Zora today, quite yet. But yeah, that second sword is going to be really super nice.
A little surprised that Andy's choosing not to do Zora right now. I mean, Zora itself is in logic with the glove. Maybe kind of hoping to have. Well, he has the bow. Maybe he could have splash deleted into the entrance. I don't know. A little bit interesting to see that Andy's choosing not to do Zora at the moment. Andy going for this bomb jump. This bomb jump's a little bit finicky. Have to be holding left after you jump in order to get in. But he's doing the strat where if you approach this whirlpool going left to right, you should have enough iframes to get you onto the dock to avoid the super dangerous area that is this.
Yeah, no, that's and you know, you actually see it on Andy's also demonstrating that swimming is actually a very difficult mechanic, right? Like it can be quite finicky in order to even get to the full level. So on Bonta's side, actually, it looks like we had found the Quick Medallion as well as our second Castle Tower small key. But I think at this point we definitely don't need it, right?
I was gonna say, isn't it great when you need your Castle Tower keys? They're impossible to find. But when we don't need them, they're super accessible. Andy finding Hera, where hello.
We found that's gonna be pretty nice. I don't think we've had a connector yet over to the Mire area. Of course, we don't have myths yet, but assuming we are going to find those myths eventually, that could potentially be our only Mire access.
Yeah, and the flute in general is just really nice with your regular Darkwood access for just convenient movement sake.
Yeah, especially since we don't have the hookshot, we don't have the boots. This is our really only major movement item, so it's going to be super convenient.
I definitely forgot that we have the Hera Big Key and are actually doing this dungeon normally.
You mean at Crosskeys we can do things the intended way?
It's amazing.
Oh man.
Bonta having a little bit of difficulty here in Ice Palace. Has to do this bomb jump without the hookshot and not having a small key. Coming into this dungeon, that's if you're doing it without the Cane of Samaria, you hopefully want to have a small key, but gets it easy, no big deal, easy peasy. Bonta's really good at this game, everybody.
Yeah, that is actually probably an understatement. Bonta has certainly shown his skill here in Ice Palace with his bomb jumps.
Yep, he's got to be a little curious to see where he's going to have to pick up the magic, because without the Master Sword, he can't use sword beams. And without Bombos, you have to have a full magic bar to take out Cold Stare. So I'm a little curious to see where the magic is going to come from here.
Yeah, so far though, man, Ice Palace
Andy,
is not...
getting middle hold, not happy about
Oh no! Oh man. Yeah.
Watching his reaction on
This
screen.
is gonna be first try. I didn't see anything. Wall kicks. I don't know what screen you're watching.
You're right.
Andy's taking on Moldorm for the very first time.
You're right. This is first try Moldorm. Nothing happened. You're right. I didn't see anything. Is Bonta saying no right now? Because I wonder if he just took a look at his magic situation and said, "Okay, I don't have the I don't have the magic to get back up, or to fill up for Cold Stare."
Yeah, so. It's and honestly, like, it was kind of sad too, because I don't think really Ice Palace had very much for him. I guess we did get a quick medallion, so that potentially, I don't think we saw entrance to. Oh no, maybe we did see an entrance to a rock. That could be another thing that we can open up. But otherwise, I don't really think we anything of worth.
You don't see it because we're not showing the runner's reaction, but Andy with some big fist pumps there because he picked up the Eastern Palace big key, and congratulations, he is the true winner, gets to single dip Eastern Palace.
Do you think Andy can full clear Eastern Palace without the lamp full kicks? Because that is something we need so
you're right. You're right. You're right. I forgot. We can't do that without the lamp.
Okay, all right.
We get our
wow! Fifth pod smoky at this point. Pod smoky
pod key and pod. Who'd have thought?
Is this Crosskeys?
Just any key sanity in general, you can almost guarantee that there will be a small key to Palace of Darkness in pod. So that is nice for Bonta. I mean, with 5 keys, he can get everything but the big chest and the boss at this point, and not even have to worry about potentially isolating a check.
Yeah, and as far as we can tell, we still don't have a pod big key, so he has all the accessibility of the small keys, but he doesn't have to necessarily worry about the other things as well. Man, really hoping he finds something useful though, because I think we've actually gone through somewhat more of a dry streak at this point.
Yep, does get bombos.
Speaking of things that could help him out in Ice Palace.
But at this point, do you really want to go back, knowing that you can't, you can't just ice break and get to cold start quicker? That's gross.
Yeah, it's also not super pleasant. We're still on Fighter Sword on Bonta's side. We do have the hammer, but I mean, it's we don't even have magic. It's not going to be a super pleasant cold start fight.
Yeah. So one thing that Andy did do real quick is he did a map check and found that I believe Desert Palace is a crystal. So the Desert Big Key that Andy will find in here will come in quite nicely.
We haven't found the backup desert yet, though, right?
Have not. Okay. There's the pod key that Bonta had that Andy didn't.
Perfect. Of all small keys we wanted to see, it's a small key to Hera, yes.
Can confirm Hera Basement will not have the lamp.
Actually, speaking of, right, we've actually gotten quite a few ice rods, including the ice rod itself, kind of out of the way pretty early this season. So hopefully they're not going to have too many trolls, or hunts that they have to go through for the rest of the season.
I mean, the boots are going to be a troll.
Oh my gosh, dude, of all items. I'm still waiting, Wallcakes. Are we going to break the hour mark? Do you think the boots are just going to be here in pod? It could be in the back of East End, maybe?
I mean, if we're hoping for boots before the hour mark, it's going to be Bonta that has to get them, because we know they're not here in the first checks of Eastern, unless it's the Eastern Big Chest. Unless this Eastern Big Chest has the boots.
Oh man, Bonta is a little bit low on health. He does a blue mail, so it's not going to kill him. But that fall though, and Bonta cannot. He has to succeed this time around. I mean, he can always just death warp back to he can take a death warp and refill his health. Wow. Good job, Bonta.
Yeah, but this is dangerous right here, though. We're doing this in the dark, and we're at half a heart.
He does have a cape with some amount of magic, so he does have a little bit of safety.
Yeah, but you don't know where these little guys are.
Dude, I don't know where that Moogle was in reference to these plays. That looked pretty big. Oh my gosh, Bonta.
All right, he gets through it just fine. I was not worried in the slightest.
Oh wow. So we did pick up another empty bottle. I mean, would it kill the game to put something in the bottle that would actually help us?
Apparently yes.
Apparently yes.
Bonta, being a madman, is chilling in Dark World, sitting on half a heart.
Not even going back to get the one heart that the roller dropped.
He's like, where we're going, we don't need hearts.
He is absolutely fearless with his hammer, though. So the hammer hitbox, it can be pretty finicky.
Oh god! Why of all the times just use the sword to go right there?
Okay, this is fine. We're back in the light world. Maybe we'll get a fairy fountain. or something.
We're gonna have to take a death warp here in Turtle Rock.
That is also fine. We're gonna get some health back, and of course we don't have any pesky fairies. We're to get in our way.
Fairies are overrated. Bonta also gonna try for this bomb jump. Again, you can just see it's just not a super easy one to get into, but it looks like he might have it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, those actually. So that was Bonta's last bomb, by the way. Didn't even realize that because I think he took a couple first tries to get the bomb jump, to get the hammer down from pod. So that 3 bombs is actually a really nice replenishment for him.
I mean that was just calculated, right? Like
exactly. Yes, apps all plan on Bonta's side. This is how big brain is. It looks like though on Andy's side, did we clear our next crystal?
We did. That is Andy's second crystal. Didn't get anything of value. Bonta, I don't know what that was. Using our last bomb again. Back to 0 bombs. It looks like he's going to take care of the vanilla big key chest and chain jumps, which we've seen on Andy's side. So everything left in Turtle Rock is Samaria locked. Andy's going to activate his flute to give him, again, just overall just some nice movement. And I think his next play is going to be the pod area because he hasn't been there.
Yeah, and getting over there with the flute, just fluting over to Flute 5's spy is it's going to be something much faster than having to walk all the way over there. Less scenic, of course.
Nope, we are headed to this connector. Oh, he's going back to TR Bridge, so he's going to take care of a couple of East at Mountain checks. Which makes sense, you've got the mirror. I know we saw a connector lead to Laser Bridge. I don't remember which one. I deleted it.
No, we already gotten all of the. Well, actually, I guess. Oh, speaking of, we did find Hype Cave. Okay, so maybe this will be something useful. Turtle Rock. Having both rods can be a pendant. That's gonna be my bet.
Oh, that's
Andy,
a nice.
Yeah.
That is a nice big key.
That is. Yeah. Forget about everything else in Hype Cave. That pod big key is gonna be super nice for Andy.
Yeah, because he will be able to full clear the dungeon once he gets in. Although I think he only has. He might have 3 or 4 keys. His personal tracker has 3, but I think he has 4. And more importantly, Pod is a 5/6. It's like, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no! I was gonna say like so like if he's missing one Pod small key, like he is definitely gonna take those keys and go straight to the back and kill on the star.
And he'll just isolate one of Harmless Hellway or Vanilla Big Key Chest, which I don't think either of those had anything.
Yeah, I want to say Bonta opened both of them, or maybe at least one of them in the middle of Big Key Chest and just 10 arrows. So yeah, definitely not missing anything. Although it looks like though Bonta is on his way to Catfish. He has and potentially he can also give us a mirror check over to the Zora area. With 1,000 rupees, I think he can afford 2 Zoras at this point.
Yeah, and I think with how his routing is going, I think this kind of ends his current route, which I fully expect him to do Zora, and he already has the mirror out. Andy picking up the Hyrule Castle small key from Sick Kid, meaning all of the nothing that we found.
That's right, is in logic. Perfect.
Is in logic. I forgot Skull Woods is right here, so Andy's gonna take care of another dungeon. Andy's actually like, he's just clearing dungeons, bam, bam, bam.
That's right.
Like, oh, there's our other bow.
So this actually potentially is going to be good for. Oh, Bonta doesn't
He
have
has
any
no
bombs. Oh my gosh, no! All 5s do not have. It's like finally, we haven't killed Armos, right? So we don't have to worry about random Ancilla, mess ups, and we've got the bow, we've got plenty of arrows, and maybe right here, Zora will sell us 3 bombs. Right, this is the one time that we would really like for there to be 3 lousy bombs here.
Let's go. Nobody has bombs.
You know what? That's better than 3 bombs at this point.
Fair.
Yes, hour and 5 minutes, and almost 6 minutes. We gotta get boots. Okay, at this point, I'm not sure if Bonta will ever go back for silvers. Maybe if he's only just on Master Sword, for the duration of the game, it might be more tempting. But at this point, Zora's pretty out of the way.
Yeah,
It might not be more time than it's worth.
That does beg the question though. When is Andy gonna go do Zora and pick up those boots? Because he had his opportunity to mirror a catfish and head to Zora and chose not to. So, Zora at this point is not isolated, but it's not in good check for Andy. And we know the Cane of Samaria is required this seed because Meyer is a 5/6.
Right. Bonta can finally go back and get the Cane of Samaria. So actually, then that means he could potentially go back to Turtle Rock and clear out the rest. Not sure about the small key situation.
And we can do Ice Palace easier. Hooray!
We can finally do Ice Palace, yeah. So Bonta's gonna be able to get that, go back and clear out. I don't think. Do we know if it's a crystal or a pendant? I guess we don't know yet.
Quick checks on the map showed that TR and Ice Palace were pendants, and that was the new information on Andy's side that we just saw.
All right.
So we are only looking for a green pendant, and it is either Swamp Palace or Thieves Town.
Oh man! Oh, we all love pendant Thieves Town, but this is gonna be pretty interesting because if Swamp Palace is a pendant, right? If Andy never finds flippers, when is he gonna go back to the Zora area? Like, I'm not sure if he has any more incentive at that point.
Yeah. And like, if it is that Swamp is a pendant, we might not need that hook shot at all. You need you need one of the hook shot or boots to get into Meyer.
Yeah, I guess so. Potentially, this is going to be where Bonta's going to be headed to? Did he find Meyer on his side?
Meyer is up at the forest. We're a bit away from Misery Meyer.
That's right. Okay, but he did find it. Yes. Okay.
Yes. Both runners know where Misery Meyer is.
Oh, so if we talk to Zora again and pay him another 500 rupees, you think we can get 2 boots? Bonta has the money.
Absolutely. That's how that works, right? Also, first dig in the dig game.
So first dig, is that also our first GT small key?
Yes. At least what I have marked.
Yeah, that's not as common.
Haven't found GT, so it's not that big of a deal right now.
Maybe this could be a potential seed where we just never have to visit GT. That also could be a potential thing.
Shout outs to the single dig that it took for that small key too.
Yeah, and
I'm never
also
that lucky.
Yeah, and also good thing I guess is potentially a useful item because sometimes like when you make the first dig, like what Bonta did, it looks actually very difficult to avoid picking up the item. So at least you're happy that you're able to you potentially want the item that you picked up.
Yep. One more quick map check from Andy showed us that it is in fact Thieves Town that is our green pendant.
Okay. So those boots can show up eventually. So it does sound like the Andy could get the boots on the sooner of the later side. Yep. Yeah.
Yes. had to go through that in my head read quick. I mean, yes, sooner rather than later. It looks like
but
that
yes,
we will
it's
pick up.
but that see that pet stash on the side.
It was good. It was good. I have not been able to get that very well. Andy's about to find Pod. He will full clear this.
He's gonna be able to pick up his next crystal. Yeah, but Andy, despite not having this boost that Bonta found at Zora, he has his crystal count is very healthy at this point.
Yes. Yeah, he's definitely got an advantage in the crystal check, and so I would say despite Bonta's boots, Andy currently would be in the lead. Of course, he's going to mirror after doing Pod and immediately go into Ice Palace. He knows it's a pendant, so he might not finish it, but I imagine he's going to probably do some excavation looking for the boots, knowing that the Cane of Samaria is on Library down at Flute Spot 5. So, Clear Mouse, what do you think we're picking up next? And don't say the Cane of Samaria, because that doesn't count.
Well, I mean, well, we have the Bonta, rock it off the bookshelf, so we're not really picking it up, right?
Sure, we're knocking it down, actually.
Yeah. And I would like to see the lamp. That would, I think help to put some things that Andy and Bonta have done in Logic. I mean, it may not have been
That's
useful,
fair.
but the lamp would be good, and it would be a nice quality of life item to have before you dip Minor Basement.
That's fair, especially since at this point we could potentially be looking at a Master Sword Silverless on Bonta's side.
Oh no.
I mean, we have plenty of time to find. Bonta doesn't have any bombs.
Oh no! Oh my gosh, Bonta! Why is there no bomb shop somewhere? Oh, let's hope that we're gonna find a bomb shop eventually.
Oh my
god! That is not a bomb shop. Oh my gosh, dude! Like, yeah, and for those of you who may not have caught what is in Hype Cave on Andy's side, it is the pod big key that Andy has in his possession that he is definitely going to take all the way to the back of Helmasaur.
I can't.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Also, we haven't found any bomb shops either, right? Bonta's got all this money that he's just itching is just burning a hole in his Moogle pockets and just cannot get rid of them. Just want those bombs.
All right, well, that's bad for Bonta, like you said, because of the pod big key. So Bonta's going to need to make another trip.
Oh my gosh, speaking of other bomb locations that Bonta is like, oh my gosh, like can there just be a bomb shop somewhere?
Chat pointing out, I mean, great on Bonta if he remembers it, but there are apparently bombs on Desert Torch. But I would never in a million years think of that at that point.
Yeah, no, I'm sure once you see nothing of value that you need, right? When you see you've literally just marked it off of everywhere.
Yeah, you delete it from your memory is not important. Bonta going to give us this Star Cave, which we haven't actually seen, and it takes us to Tower of Hera. All right, not terrible. Considering we haven't yet been to Light World, Top of Death Mountain, and this will actually route in nicely for Bonta. He'll be able to get the 2 middle drop-down checks.
Maybe there'll be bombs up here.
Maybe there will be bombs in here. That still doesn't help the fact that Hype Cave is at... Oh, look, bombs.
Yes, there are bombs.
Doesn't help that Hype Cave is at Mimic Cave, and we cannot get there without going through the connector again. But, oh, he has the portal!
Yeah, he has the portal. This is such nice routing on Bonta's side. I'm sure he planned this.
God. This is entirely planned, never punished. Galaxy brain. Wow.
I would also say though, like the fact that this is Hype Cave, there are 4 items left that he couldn't get before. Like he has some pretty high incentive to come back here. He is certainly happy he came back here.
that is, wow. Very nice. Andy, meanwhile, going to be finishing off Pod. There wasn't anything of extreme value in Pod, was there?
No,
we obviously don't know what
Helmasaur
King has, but I don't think there was anything else to pick up.
No, I think the only thing that Andy got to check over Bonta was the big key chest. Or sorry, the big chest. I don't think it had anything, and so yeah, we're going to, I mean, certainly probably the most valuable thing going to be out of this dungeon is going to be the 5/6 crystal.
Yeah.
I'm sure Andy is certainly hoping for boots. That would make actually this fight a little bit nicer. He is only on Master Sword, and for those of you who might have seen like the recent NMG tournament, the spin speed here would have been pretty nice. But of course we don't have boots. We don't have Tupper swords, so might be like a combination of hammer and bow.
Let's see, where is Bonta headed off to?
Is this also our first use of traditional Dark World access?
I think Bonta's used this a couple of times.
Okay.
We're heading to...
that's right.
All right, we haven't seen the other end of this.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because I don't think either of them picked up Cape when they stumbled upon this entrance.
I mean, Cape was at Uncle, so he had to have. So they had to have it. I just think they chose not to follow it for the time being. Doesn't lead to anywhere good. In terms of connectors, like, we've kind of found our important connectors. Like, when it comes to entrance, There's always got to be a connector to the top of Bumper Cave. There's always got to be a connector to Floating Island, TR Bridge, Laser Bridge, and Desert Right. And we've seen all of those. So any new connectors at this point would just be taking us somewhere different. I think in Bonta's mind, ideally, he wants to find Misery Mire. I don't think we're going to have a connector to Misery Mire. I think our access to Mire is going to be Miss Flute.
Yeah, at least so far, it's been the number of combined checks and entrances that we've seen on both sides is certainly looking less likely that we're going to be able to find a connector over there.
Yep.
So speaking of then, where are these mitts? I mean, it's certainly on Bonta's side, right? Bonta's looking for the flute as well, because I don't think he's been to Hera yet, but we know that at least Andy's been able to pick that up.
Yeah, but Bonta's going to pick up his Cane of Samaria, so good for Bonta. Where is Andy headed off to? I'm not sure if Andy's been to the top of Hyrule Castle yet. I think he has.
He has, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he might still be heading in that direction. Anyways, he's actually not mirroring and doing Ice Palace, which is honestly pretty surprising to me. He might be holding off hope that he can, if he does have to do Pendant Ice, he can do it with the with Icebreaker and with the Cane of Samaria, which we know he can.
Yeah, so at this point, what all are we? How far are we from go mode here?
Well, we haven't seen the dam. We have to find the dam for Swamp Palace.
Right. We still need flippers.
Still need flippers.
We need a hook shot.
We need a Mire Big
at some point.
And we need a hook shot. And that's it. Collectively. Andy's actually, it's crazy. Now we're 17 in. Bonta's working on his first crystal, and Andy's sitting here on 4. That's weird.
Yeah, it's certainly not common to be able to see something like this. But I mean, I guess for what it's worth, though, Bonta, having basically caught up in a lot of the keys that he has, I think he's going to be able to knock out these crystals pretty quickly.
Yeah, Bonta's not behind in the sense of he's everything that he still needs to do is stuff that Andy's already done. He's done things that Andy hasn't done, most notably picking up the boots. So there will be time to gain on Bonta's end.
Although, is this a new check on Andy's side? I can't remember if Bonta was over here. Okay.
Nope, we have not seen Spike Cave yet, and it's just a heart container.
Oh, right, because when Bonta was over here, potentially had access, he had no magic in bottle, and he just had a cave and he had 4 or 5 hearts or something like that. So,
yeah, it was low, it was risky.
Yeah, Bonta, of course, taking the safer route to actually light a torch in Turtle's room. Turtles do 1 heart of damage, regardless of male. And yeah, when Turtles don't go as planned or any plan, they can get out of hand super fast, and they will murder you in the dark.
Yeah, that is probably the most difficult dark room, not to learn movement wise, but just to do.
Oh, so speaking of potentially actually a more comfier Bulbasaur fight, you see Bonta arming his spin speed. So this is actually going to offset the hammer's hitbox. So when he's going to be able to do temper sword damage or hammer damage, and basically in place, instead of trying to use the actual original hammer hitbox in order to try and hit Bulbasaur.
Yep. It looks like Andy though doing some fake flipper checks, so he might be picking up his boots momentarily, which will be huge for him.
Yeah, not only, of course, that means that Andy's just going to be more comfortable with boots, right? He's also going to pick up his Cane of Samaria as well.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think Hobo is also a new check as well.
I believe so. I don't think we have seen Hobo on either end. This is, without a doubt, the worst single check in Crosskeys. You'll notice I have opinions on things.
Are they similar to your opinions about Eastern Palace?
They are, in fact, similar to my opinions on Eastern Palace, in that they are terrible checks.
by the way, this trip outside, running out of pod on Bonta's side for the second time is substantially different than his first time around. He was on half a heart, right? No boots, trying to hammer everything away, and this time he's got boots, he's got a sword. He didn't even get lottery by the Ropas. This is super pleasant.
It's true. I think I suspect we might get a fake flipper here as well from Bonta, which will head him to Tower of Hera, I think. Yep. Which will get him his flute. The bees.
Oh no, the bees!
Oh, God.
What a terrible bonk, man. Yeah, it looks like Bonta is also doing something that you mentioned earlier, wall kicks. He's going to try and set up and enter the whirlpool from the left, so he has rightwards momentum, just so he can get past these terrible shooters.
Mm-hmm. Andy's showing us that the waterfall fairy entrance not important.
Now, this is actually going to be pretty interesting because, unlike Bonta when he came here, Andy has bombs. So, but he also has killed Armos. I'm not quite sure what he can and cannot do here. After Eastern Palace.
The fact that he took away his water walk tells me that he is going to make an effort to get these silvers. Will be interesting to see how successful he is, but he'll be really happy with these boots. For obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so his Ancilla is messed up. There are ways to reset. And I think that's one of them is to dump some bombs. And there you go.
Nice.
So
nice.
If
nice
you
job
dump,
on Andy's side.
If you dump, I believe, 2 bombs into the water, it does reset your Ancilla and lets you do it. So Andy has silvers, which is potentially very big come Ganon fight.
Yeah, and I mean, even though Andy has also killed a lot of bosses on his side already, he hasn't killed Vitreous yet. Silver is also going to be pretty nice for him as well.
Yep. I think he's going to go pick up the Canis Meyer or whatever. I think I want to say maybe we make a Meyer play soon. I know we don't have the big key, but I'm starting to suspect flippers might be behind it.
There's also nothing stopping the game from putting Meyer Big Key inside Meyer. I'm sure we've all seen that.
Oh, yeah. Looks like Andy's not heading in that direction. Not sure where he's going. Oh, he hasn't checked this entrance yet, which is nothing. Bonta did Hera Basement, which is something that Andy didn't do, so that could have been a very big check for Bonta. Unfortunately, was just a map, did not pay out.
Yeah, I think at this point, Bonta might know all of his crystal medallion or crystal pendant knowledge at this point.
I think he does. I know he had been doing some map checks. I'm fairly certain that he knows what he's looking for. And he, meanwhile, head into the forest. I think he's gonna go Dark World. I don't think he's gonna go Meyer just yet. Nice little chest turn from Bonta. Swag.
I can't wait until the chest turn counters get in the credits.
Don't you love how these are the kind of things that we demand to be added?
Well, yeah. I mean, these are the important metrics.
This is the true value of randos. How often can you chest turn? Where are we going? Oh, and he hasn't done these south checks. A little awkward, but nothing punishing. I think we pick up a GT key. And Bonta, meanwhile, picking up his pod big. Or no, this is Eastern big. My bad. He's already done pod. And gets crystal number 2. So he's going to be very quickly catching up to Andy when it comes to crystals.
Yeah, and it actually does look like Andy is kind of doing the same things that Bonta, was doing. Just the same set of exploration. So they're really not as far apart as they might seem.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, they're actually very close, and whoever is in the lead will kind of be the person whoever finds progression next, which could be right here in front of Turtle Rock, which Andy has not done.
Yeah, and with that new Canis Maria in hand, Bonta's going to be able to make these checks. Still no hook shot. So hopefully Bonta's going to remember that he has to take the longer way around. Oh man, I feel like now whenever Bonta finds bombs, it's just gonna be someone like,
It's just
why didn't you clear earlier?
yeah, you just see this mental image of Bonta just like shaking his head, like God dang it.
Oh, look at that. Bonta's on top of things. He knows that he doesn't have a hook shot. And of course, thanks to a very useful compass of Turtle Rock that we picked up somewhere along the way, we know that after these last two checks, the last item in Turtle Rocks could be left on Trinex.
Which we can get to, by the way, not in logic, but we do have the Big Key, we have Cane, we have a Fire and Ice Rod. Who'd have thought with the early Ice Rod that Turtle Rock would be a pendant?
Amazing. I never would have guessed that. Unfortunately, though, it was like 6 bombs and, I don't know, was an arrow or something like that? In Turtle Rock?
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
It was not useful at all.
Anything at this point that isn't useless, or that isn't useful, is now just 10 arrows at all times.
Yeah, I mean, 10 arrows for what it's worth might be useful to Andy. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Speaking of, we could potentially put our one GT small key into use here.
Oh God.
Dude, how far can you even get with one small key?
Logically, nowhere. Like, logically, what's in logic is the torch. Bonta needs magic. Bonta has just been low items.
He's been scraping by in terms of resources.
Yeah, these resources have been small. Oh, we missed the wall. That's unfortunate. But I think logically we can do a tile room, the 2 chest and hope room, and the torch. I think everything else is not in logic without more ease.
Hopefully, tile room is going to pay off here for both these runners, because this is also Bonta's second tile room that I'm sure he's more than thrilled in order to try and dodge these.
Yep, pretty impressive that here we are almost an hour and a half in, that we are here together in GT tile room. We get our 6th and final pot small key, which
finally Helmasaur is in logic. Mm-hmm.
Hooray! With that heart piece? No, 10 arrows. That's right. Everything that was used.
Yeah, that's right. Everything's 10 arrows. Yep.
Without the hookshot, though, logically we can't do left side, but we're not going to worry about that. With the one small key that we do have, we can full clear the basement, provided we mirror right here. Once we pick up the small key on Bonta's end. But right side, not paying off.
Yeah, and of course, so actually, Andy's turn to. Oh, okay, never mind. I was gonna say it's actually Andy that's gonna be a little low on bombs, but the fact that these guys have boots, they don't need a bomb jump. They can just probably, hover their way over to Stathless room.
Bonta, though, leaving after doing the right side, picking up the small key, not even checking the torch, which. A little surprised.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Because it might have been actually just relatively quick, right? Because you just dash over the left side and then mirror out if you want.
And more importantly, it's in logic. Like for all we know, this could just be the hookshot.
10 arrows. I'm sorry. Oh, this is retro mode. Yeah, it's retro mode. That's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Andy is going to demonstrate just how easy it is for him to get over to Southwest Room.
Oh, we got a GT Big Key.
Did we forget to play the GT Big Key guessing game?
We did.
I'm sorry.
We also get a vanilla small key. Hooray for that.
Andy also has the nice fortune of finding the Uncle Bomb, so that definitely made his bomb count of 2 go much nicer to 10.
It's true. Now, if I'm Andy, I am 1,000,000% not interested in climbing until I get a hookshot, because the GT Big Key is locked by the hookshot.
Yeah, and not only we found 2 GT smalls, right? Is a GT upstairs is also locked by 4 GT small keys?
It's progressive. So if you can get upstairs to Mini Helmasaur room, that's in logic just without any keys.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
right. Because you only need the big key to get up there. That's
yeah,
right.
you only need the big key, the bow, and a fire source to actually get to Mini Helmasaurm to put that in logic. The pre-Moldorm chest is locked by 3 GT keys, and the Moldorm 2 chest is locked by all 4.
Andy picking up another small key to Skullwood, so it's going to eventually put Mothula back in logic. That I'm sure we are very adamant about.
I can confidently say that Mothula will not have the hook shot. Bonta's got to be a little careful here. Although he looks like he's in better shape now. Oop, maybe not.
Oh, wow. Andy finds Tempered Sword here in the window room.
Bonta probably wishing he had that. Was that a small key to Turtle Rock?
It was another small key to Turtle Rock. Yes.
Alright, not bad. Which means Trinex is not going to have the hook shot, by the way.
That is true. It's locked by all the GT small
all the GT small keys and
yes,
the hook shot.
Yes.
And the hook shot.
I was technically still correct. I should just take over with my statements.
Oh, that Thieves small key is gross considering it's a pendant.
Luckily we haven't found the Thieves Town big key yet either.
It's
so
true.
At least, like, for what it's worth, right? We found the small key before the big key.
Yes.
It's even going to be a worse feeling if you cleared out all of Thieves Town except for the big chest, and then you found the small key, and you're just like, I don't want to go back, man.
Yes, and as chat points out, that means the back of Thieves Town, or at least the attic, the big chest, and Blind will not have the hook shot. We don't know where the Thieves Big is just yet, so Blind Cell could, in theory, have the hook shot still. There are the Titans mitts.
Dude, yeah. No, GC Basement was certainly very beneficial for Andy. So picking up mitts, picking up Tempered Sword. So we're also potentially going to be able to have access to the Mire area now?
Yeah, but I think Andy's heading to Mire now. I think on some level you kind of want to close this loophole a little bit. Nope, we are actually going to the top of Dark Death Mountain. Bonta, meanwhile, is going to give us our first look at Hookshot Cave, and I imagine he's hovering this.
The bottom chest, of course, is always going to be in logic with the boots. So that could have a hookshot for all we know. However, yes. The other ones, though, of course, yeah, the other ones are definitely hookshot locked.
Just 10 arrows.
Speaking up, Andy looks like he's also got a similar idea. Alright, looks like though Bonta is not going to try it, at least again, in order to try and get more of the chests here.
Nice entrance. Alright, so Bonta choosing not to attempt another hover. That's a mushroom.
That is the mushroom. I don't think we've actually found the potion shop yet, right? Inside?
I don't believe we have it.
Oh,
Andy.
This is a first try hover here to this chest. It is. I didn't see anything else that he was trying to do.
For those of you who don't know, you cannot bonk to this chest. The gap is just a little too big.
Just a little. It was like 3 pug sizes.
In all honesty, these both runners putting on an amazing show. If you aren't following them, please give them a follow. These are 2 amazing runners. And we haven't actually mentioned in a while, but hey, this is a Crosskeys tournament. This is the round 2 Swiss. Both these runners 0-1.
Yeah, don't let the 0-1. Yeah, don't let the 0-1 record fool you.
Fate determined that these 2 would play early on.
Alright, Bonta's gonna drop into his Mothula fight very shortly here. He should be fine. He's got a couple fire rod shots in him. He's got Master Sword. He's got the hammer. He's got boots. Most importantly, looks like oh my gosh, he's got 2 really nice hammer shots currently.
Yeah, people who do this hammer fight, I envy you. Like, I cannot do this hammer fight to save my life.
Mothula, though, refuses to leave the upper part of the screen.
Please be careful, Bonta.
Bonta, oh my gosh, Bonta.
This is what happens when you just try to get a little fight. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Bonta. Oh my gosh, he's out of magic. No! I don't think he has any safety.
Use the sword. The sword provides a little bit of protection. Hey.
Nice fight, Bonta. Holy cow. That is so
We're
close.
alive.
And of course, he's rewarded with 10 more arrows. Man.
No, for Bonta, bombs are important.
Oh, that is true. Holy cow! What a fight though. Jeez. If Bonta, if it's one thing this scene has shown for us on Bonta's side, he is able to survive anything.
Yeah, he's not afraid to be at low health. Chat asking at this point, where are flippers and hookshot? I have to imagine one of them is in Mire at this point. I think one of our runners needs to make a Mire play. Like I know we want to find the Mire big key. I'm not confident that we are going to have that luxury.
Did you happen to catch what medallion that was?
It was a medallion.
That's fair. And Andy is too fast. Although, the fact that Andy is here in the dam means that Bonta needs eventually to go back to GT basement and pick up those Titan Smiths. Well, yeah. Okay. I guess we haven't seen all of the other entrances here in Mire, but it's certainly looking very, very likely that he's gonna have to go back.
One thing to note as Andy finds the back of desert, which good for Andy. This will be another crystal that he can do. If that quake is required, that quake is in Pendant Ice Palace. So that is something that is an entrance that Bonta could have in his back pocket that could have something. But again, we won't know that until Bonta goes and gets it. He's gonna finish off Eastern at this point and pick up his fourth crystal. Mitts are currently out of logic, yes.
I think like not 90, but I mean like a good chunk of the scene has been done pretty much in the dark, for these runners. Yeah. So it's a very strong suggestion, or actually pretty weak suggestion at that. Okay, so Andy here in the Landmolus fight, 3 silver arrows. I don't think we saw any of the worms pop up all that much.
The more I think about it, the more I'm confident that it's going to be the flippers that are in Mire. The reason I say that is because the flute was in Hera. Hera was at Dark Shopping Mall. There was not a connector there. So all of these Mire checks are logically flippers locked. And I think
that is actually some great use of logic.
I think collectively we have Misery Mire in terms of whatever is missing. So for Andy, it would be good if he picks up the Mire big key somewhere around here, because he can single dip Mire when maybe logically you weren't supposed to.
So we have finally found Sahashlo's closet.
Oh, good. He can tell us what our green pendant is. Oh, look, it's the Mire. Oh, dang it. Dang it. I was so close.
Of course, it's the big key to Thief's Town. Because why would we find a big key to a crystal dungeon at this point?
So that's just gross.
Although, is that it for the rest of our big keys, though? So the next big key that Andy will pick up is for sure going to be the Mire big key? I'm watching our tracker.
Where did he pick up GT big?
In
that was in GT.
In Stop Space. In Stop Space. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
We forgot to play the game.
Then yes, that is for sure. The next big key that we find will be the Mire big key. Did Andy not go into Desert Left? I think he did. Bonta gonna make the Mire play. I think Andy is Not quite.
Although it looks like we might be getting a glimpse on what is on our pedestal today.
To mention chat, so this is the logic I'm not as familiar with, but Armos Knight is locked by 3 small keys, 3 GT keys, one of which was hookshot locked, one of which we know is mitts locked, which, yeah, I guess that means hookshot can't be. I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and think, oh, the hookshot's just right there.
The hookshot shows up in Mire.
That's actually bad news for Bonta.
We still can't get to basement because we still don't have the big key. No.
Alright, well.
Although, speaking of, looks like Andy's actually going to pick up his hookshot very shortly.
Yeah. And that just blows up the theory in my face about the mitts being in here. But maybe, or I mean, not the mitts, the flute, maybe, or not the flute, flippers.
It's
I
the
know
last thing that
what
we
I'm
need, yes.
Maybe flippers are still in here, though?
So, I guess if flippers are here, okay, well, Bonta finds red mail, so, you know, at least on Bonta's side, the fact that he doesn't have any safeties, and he at least got a mail upgrade can at least, you know, make us rest a little bit easier. I was gonna say, so maybe though, on Andy's side, if we end up finding flippers in here, Swamp Palace is gonna be his next spot. He already got the dam, right? And
yep.
And everything pretty much is open at this point.
And as chat pointing out, I think flippers can now be in upstairs GT. Scary thought.
They did pick up the powder too, right?
Yes, that was
so
somewhere.
We could, yeah. Can we go visit Magic Bat?
Oh, gross. I mean, we might have to, but still gross. Question in chat: does Bonta climb when he goes back? I don't know. I would like to think yes, but the mitts are going to give a lot of potential checks to Bonta, and he might want to put that off. It's just the hookshot here in Misery Mire.
So, well, at least with this though, like, so Bonta is presumably he's gonna go back to GT with that hookshot.
Yeah, that's actually looks like exactly what he's gonna do. Be curious to see what Andy's next play is. He might start to think Ice Palace.
Oh right, yeah, that is true. He has Canis Maria. He has not touched a single room in Ice Palace, and I think he has actually quite a bit available to him, right? Like he has the entire thing available.
Yeah, he could full clear, although he is choosing something else right now.
What else was in the Mire area?
Nothing that I remember. Okay, he's.
Oh, he wants to go with GT or Desert back. Maybe. Oh, he didn't check much.
Yeah, I don't think. I also don't think he checked this entrance. Like, I think he left, went straight to Mire. I think he's trying to hold. I want to say maybe he's trying to consider logic, and at this point, watching 2 runners, I can't. And this is not an Ice Palace play. What is this play? It doesn't have a book. This might be.
Oh, this could be another tablet.
Maybe.
Oh, right, and we got the book. Actually, Bonta's going to pick it up, presumably pretty shortly, because I think it was in Bob's chest room. Right before Ice Palace, yeah.
Something, yeah. Yeah, he's heading it down there right now, although I'm sure Andy checked what was at the damn item, and that was nothing.
I'm also going to assume that. I don't remember seeing it on the screen. However, there are many things that I haven't quite remembered. Andy showing us the Hylian text that that we're all supposed to apparently know.
I also know one of the runners checked the damn item, and because Bonta does not have the mitts yet and thus can't, then it has to be Andy.
That's also another good use of logic.
Looks like Andy might be heading back to GT, so Andy might climb here in this scenario. He's really putting off Ice Palace. I'd be curious to hear like his reasoning to put off Pendant Ice for so long, which I mean we know for the most part is a good play. It's a little surprising to me that it's 8 fairly quick checks at this point compared to this climb, which is going to be 4 plus Magic Bat.
Yeah, we're also going to see, well, I guess maybe not necessarily upstairs UG, but certainly at least in the mix room, right? Andy's got silvers that he ended up ensilating out of
the act of Ancilla.
Yes, out of the Zora Ledge area without the flipper, so it's going to be actually a pretty nice advantage for him. You know, especially also when he goes to fight Lamos too, right? He's also going to take 3 silver arrows. Bonta though, fearless, absolutely fearless, and pretty much every single fight that he's in.
Why is he down to 2 hearts?
Yeah, always apparently on just teetering on the brink of death.
Alright, so is Bonta climbing? Bonta's gonna climb with 3 hearts.
Wow, Bonta has, you know what, he didn't even pick up the pen of courage, but Bonta is definitely shown that he is the bravest Moogle that we have ever seen.
Not gonna lie, for a second I thought he was about to do this dash on 3 hearts and be like, you're just gonna die, dude.
Oh man, speaking of arrow and resources, dude, wall kicks!
I was about to say, Bonta a little low on arrows.
Oh my gosh. Alright, so there is a 5 arrow under these paws. Man, I really wish we actually had picked up
10
arrows somewhere for the middle.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it looks like Bonta at least was trying to make sure that the arrows didn't despawn. Sometimes that can happen. I'm not actually quite sure what the exact situation would be, but it's definitely happened before.
It's just having too many sprites on the screen. Usually you're picking up the pot like with both enemies on the screen and maybe as one of the Beamos is trying to shoot you.
Okay, I see. Oh, right, because the beams also count as another sprite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, here's... While our talk about Bonta and his low resources / hearts, Andy finished the gauntlet. Very impressively done. Bonta also appears to be making quick work of it as well.
If it's one thing that both Andy and Bonta know how to do well, it's the gauntlet with boots and Tempered Sword.
Yeah, I mean, again, both these runners' executions is, elite. So you don't have to worry about, poor gameplay here. I completely didn't look at that right chest. I know the left chest was nothing, but that right chest was a blind spot to me. Oh, baby.
Uh-huh. That could afford us, like, a half an arrow or something, maybe?
We get the big key to Meyer. That is...
Big key to Meyer.
Alright.
At least both runners, made the right decision. Because the Meyer big key is here, looks like Andy is just going to be a bit more thorough, at least so far, and clear out, at least get this chest, and then potentially go kill Agatu, maybe? And then check what Magic Bat is.
Alright, so we are flippers for go mode. And you like it. You like to see flippers for go mode. You don't have to think about Swamp Palace at all.
That is actually quite the treat in Crosskeys, right? Normally, it's like how many times you have to go back to Swamp, right? How many times do you just left side Swamp immediately, right? Whenever you get there. And this time looks like we can just go straight to the back.
Is that a triple on Andy's side?
Was it?
Well, that wasn't.
You're not wrong, okay?
my observation skills are on point. Bonta down to 2 hearts again. Shocking.
We are back on heartbeats of encouragement on Bonta's side.
To answer chat, yes, we have found Swamp Palace. It is up at Dark Lumberjack.
And Bonta just needs to go over to the... Oh my gosh, Bonta.
You put both of them on the spikes!
Fire area! Oh my gosh, Bonta!
Bonta, please. Bonta, please.
He's fine. As long as he doesn't get pinned by these spikes, he has the power and he has just enough magic in order to get...
Alright.
What an adventure.
Never punished, not even worried.
Yeah. Bonta's on full health. What were we so worried about, wall kicks?
I don't know. Magic Bat, by the way, turning up nothing.
Actually 10 arrows this time.
Oh yeah, actually 10. Alright, where is Andy going? I think Misery Mire is our next obvious step here.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean he has the Mire Big Key, right? I mean for all he knows, Filter's just gonna be on Vitrios or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the Big Chest for that matter.
Yeah, well one of those two.
You do get the big chest, right, before you go downstairs, right?
I would. I am also not a Crosskeys champion, so there might be others in chat who would be like, no, you go to the boss first, 100 times out of 100. But, eh.
I think we're still missing the location of a very important light source that we haven't seen yet at almost the 2-hour mark.
Where the heck is this land? So one thing to point out in our ever lovingly quest to point out resource management, these 10 arrows are going to be really big for Bonta.
That is a very good point.
Because he doesn't have any.
He has, and you know, when he goes and visits Misery Mire, right? So you know, Andy's got plenty of silver arrows, and you know, he doesn't certainly need all of them. However, Bonta, though, with his wooden arrows, he would really like to have 8 of them left to kill the big eye at the very end.
What the heck was that? Andy just casually like dashing back down so we can get the hover. That was really sick.
That was well executed on Andy's side. Andy has been very on point with his boost execution.
Alright, off the cold stare. I imagine, or not cold stare, Vidi. I don't know why I am just constantly missing the dungeon /item/bosses.
You just really want to see your cold stare fight, is that correct?
Apparently, my subconscious believes that the flippers are on cold stare.
Oh, right. Bonta hasn't done Spike Cave yet, so he's going to have a lot more resources to his thing in order to get back here.
He's going to use his resources.
Yeah, for once. And I guess, like, and if he's going back to Mire, if this is his next stop, right, you know, he can use basically all of his hearts and all of his magic before going straight to the back.
Yeah. Alright, so where is Andy's play? I have to imagine Andy doesn't put off Ice Palace for much longer if Vidi doesn't drop flippers.
So I guess we do have Smith Chain available to us.
We do.
That's only 2 checks. I mean, it's not like the end of the world, right? We have Flute, we've got Mirror.
Bonta's
right. And
yeah, Bonta didn't.
Going back to Hookshot Cave because he didn't get these items.
And Vitrius drops the Butter Sword. Hey.
Sword.
You know what? We'll take it.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, well, Bonta just showed us the mushroom, which I don't think Andy has turned in, I don't
think he's turned it in, but I know he has it for sure. That Thief Small Key, to answer chat, is on Trinex.
Oh, Andy just turned in? Okay, thank you.
Alright, so Andy not going to Ice Palace. He is saying Pendant Ice is bad. And going to do probably Smith Chain.
Yeah. Oh, that was a nice anti-fairy skip on Bonta's side. But yeah, I think at this point we're running low on potentially first try dash back to save the frog. Yep, that's exactly what I saw on Andy's side.
Luckily, I wasn't looking, so it absolutely was first try on my side.
All right, is this our flippers?
No. Unfortunate. Is there any outstanding item caves that we haven't seen? Watching 2 streams, it's hard to keep track of that, but I don't know if we have any more item caves that we haven't looked at. Hello, Spiral Cave. Oh, that's right. There's an entrance over here. Yes.
Yeah, and Bonta followed this earlier on.
Yeah, but I don't think he had the mirror the first time when he did this, so I don't think we've seen what's on the Light World side of this.
Oh yeah, that's true, because this took us to Bumper Ledge, right? And Bonta did not have the mirror. Yeah, so this could be another entrance. That Quake Medallion, though, is going to be not useful today. That's what we showed him on Bonta's side, so if Annie never goes and picks that up, then he should be fine.
It's a little unfortunate for Bonta, because that was kind of a nice little ace in the hole to have. But he's going to pick up right here crystal number 5, and is not all that far behind Andy. So this is still a close race. And as much as I don't want to say it, the silvers that Andy have may play a role.
Yeah, because certainly at this point, it's pretty difficult to see Bonta going back for them. Like, it's going to be Flippers Go mode, right? It's Flippers Go mode at this point, and you are not going to be thinking, oh man, like, let me go back and get those silvers off of Zora Ledge when I'm just going to be able to go straight into Ganon.
Oh, there's the potion shop, by the way, giving us a small key to GT, which was locked by the hook. Couldn't even tell you the logic behind that at this point. Andy looting over to 5. This is going to be a Pendant Ice Palace play, so this is all time that Andy could be potentially giving to Bonta, assuming that the flippers are not on Cold Stare. That is the one check that Bonta did not do.
Looks like Bonta just really wants to be able to save his Fire Rod shots. He's got Temper Sword to kind of slash them out. It's not going to be too bad.
See, Andy definitely got the first shot Fire Rod with the Freezor. Definitely the first shot, and not the second one.
It's just like he got the first shot in Spellblitz too, right? Yes. It's fine. Like using fire rods and bombs. It's not like they're boosts or anything, right? Andy is able to maneuver everywhere on his feet.
Bonta, you don't have flippers, buddy. So Bonta, once he finishes Mire, because I'm assuming you have to finish Mire sooner, right? Like, I think when we're done here, you go to Mire, you get your Crystal 6. Bonta, at this point, his most lucrative play after Mire might be Thieves Town, because he has the small key. And so he won't be isolating the Thieves' big chest. So he's less inclined to be like, oh, he doesn't need to be hesitant about Thieves Town.
And Thieves Town is also the green pen.
Oh, he also has the big key just now.
We might end up seeing another visit to come back to Sahashwala. Oh,
wait.
Wow.
Wait.
Did Bonta not have a small key when he was in ice?
But he
in order to check that?
No, because he did it normally. Like, he went to Vanilla Big Key Chest.
I think we might have to check the bot, because I know he went in with no ice small keys, and now I can't remember.
But he specifically bomb jumped to get over to right side, because he did the atrium, he did the big key chest, and he ended his route at Ice T. I think. No, did he end his route at the big key chest because he realized that he didn't have enough magic?
Oh man, it was such a long time ago that
yeah, I'd have to look at that. Like I didn't even consider the fact that he maybe didn't check another item. That is extremely unfortunate for Bonta, because like had that been the case, one, he would have likely full cleared Swamp, so would have given that time to Andy. But two, he would have had a Misery Mire Big Key for Go mode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it looks like at least Bonta wants to finish up his checks on the overworld. I think he's just going to try and chase mislocations at this point. Maybe he also doesn't want to go back to Ice Palace, because maybe he thinks, you know, if they're actually there and I couldn't pick them up earlier, maybe Andy has gone there, you know, a long time ago, right? Because it's Pendant Ice.
Yeah, I'm still just flabbergasted at the Flipper's location. But yeah, Andy's gonna quickly wrap up Swamp Palace, and then that's crystal number 7 for him. And so he is very, very, very likely at this point to go 1-1 and drop Bonta down to 0-2.
If I were an 0-2 player, I would be. I would not be looking forward to my tournament life if I had to drop Bonta.
Yeah. I mean, there are other good players who are 0-2. I mean, In the Name of DT is sitting at 0-2. GamerCal also sitting at 0-2 currently. So, you know, just because you're 0-2 doesn't mean, you know, you're looking at a potentially easier.
Yeah. I mean, just because you have an 0-2 record does not really indicate like how, you know, good or you know, like the quality of the random runner. I mean, this is Crosskeys. This is probably one of the most like volatile modes that you can find, right? I mean, anything can happen basically, you know, for Crosskeys.
But that is crystal number 7 for Andy. And Ganon today just sitting in the Lost Woods. Bonta doing what I think is a reasonable play for him, and that is to go into Thieves Town at this point.
Yeah, he has 4 items, right? So this is his most itemless location at this point.
Imagine the lamp being in here somehow. I don't know if that's possible, but imagine the lamp being in here.
We have, I mean, what haven't we seen by this point? Like, where is that lamp?
We haven't seen Cold Stare. We haven't seen Purple Chest.
Oh, so Bonta turned in Purple Chest. It was a heart piece.
It was okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. Andy, meanwhile, on the Ganon fight, gold sword, silvers. This is going to be easy mode.
Does he have muscle memory for gold sword and silver arrows? I mean, he might have be like hesitating about this fight.
I mean, I'm pretty sure like he would just go, you know, revert to his tempered, which is just to do 12 slashes or 12 dashes anyways. Luckily, with gold sword, 12 slashes is still enough to move to the next phase.
Man, it always makes me a bit nervous when people say, "Oh, we found the lamp! Amazing!" I can't believe the lamp is all the way. What the heck, dude? The lamp was behind Mitts, right? Because it was in the Mire area, like for the Big Key of Thieves Town.
Yes. The lamp is also logically behind.
That is like so far. Yeah, it's so far buried.
And he's setting up for a triple. Swing and a... Oh, that is scary. Oh my god. But
okay, we're fine. Everything's fine. That was the first try, Ganon, to land some silver arrows. Oh, wow.
Get your GGs in chat for Andy, who will take this race, move to 1-1 in the Crosskeys tournament, dropping Bonta to 0-2.
Like we got to finish with an official time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 50 seconds. GG's, Andy. Alright, looks like with that, Bonta, seeing the dot done, presumably in the race room, is ready to at least take a small break.
He's trapped.
He has the boots, ball kicks. With boots, you are never trapped.
Fair enough. But yeah, GG's to both runners. I mean, they put on quite a display. And I mean, this could very easily have turned out in Bonta's favor had he not skipped those flippers. But we are joined by the winner, Andy. Hello, GG's.
Hey, Andy.
Oh, GG's.
So, your opponent unfortunately skipped the flippers in Ice Palace.
I saw when he asked where the flippers were, and he said, IP question mark after I told him where they were.
Yeah,
I was like, huh. All right.
Because he went into Ice Palace early, which, you know, understandable. He could clear it, but ran into some magic issues, and so I think rather than going to the boss, he mirrored out. I assumed that he had picked up the chest where the flippers were. I guess he didn't, and he just never went back for them.
Interesting.
But
yeah, that's really unfortunate. I was a little worried about the early Ice Palace because we got the big key in like the first 20 seconds basically.
Yeah.
And then we found it, and I'm like, oh well, that's great.
Yeah, I was interested to see because you definitely put off Ice Palace. I'm assuming it's just because you knew it was a pendant. You just kind of wanted to hold off on that for as long as possible.
Yeah, at that point, I like really hadn't done, besides Turtle Rock, I hadn't really touched any of the pendant dungeons, and at that point we were looking for so few things that I figured like if flippers were in Ice Palace, that would be best case scenario for me.
Sure.
Which ended up, you know, being the case. I didn't full clear Swamp Palace. Flippers also being go mode made Hair Basement like off of my list of terrible things I had to go back to.
That's true.
So yeah, the GT chain was pretty terrible.
Yeah,
me getting a big key and a small key that were both hookshot locked. To get hookshot and Mire, and I was like, well, that puts upstairs GT in logic. Let's go, boys. Yeah, this was a fun seed.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were wondering like if you were trying to keep a firm grasp on logic when it came to that, either the hookshot or the flippers. I was actually thinking it was going to be the flippers in Mire, but it ended up being the hookshot.
Yeah, I was expecting something to be in Mire.
Yeah.
And then if it wasn't, I was like, well, Ice Palace is the answer, I guess, and I'm boned. But
I mean, it kind of was the answer. It just was the last answer.
Yeah, boots being I could have got those way earlier. Once
Yeah.
again.
Yes, speaking of, was there? Yeah, we were actually curious why you decided to not mirror after Catfish.
Because I wanted to. I wouldn't have left from Zora, probably. I would have just save and quit.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do the 6 entrances in Ice Rod area altogether, more than going to check Zora as an item.
Yeah, that's actually understandable.
If I had done Ice Rod area already, that would have been like a 50-50 gut decision, probably. But and then Dark Ice ended up leading to the Flute, which led me to Zora like earlier than I would have else or otherwise, probably. But
Sure.
And it was actually nice to see you Ancilla your way to silver. So unfortunate thing, I guess, on Bonta's side, he had no bombs going in, so he saw the silvers and he couldn't get them.
Yeah, I had to shout outs to Futon for teaching me the easy way to reset my dumb Ancilla value when it doesn't work the first time for no reason.
Futon is a smart man.
Yeah. I always give my thanks to Futon when I have to reset my Ancilla value by dropping 2 bombs and failing to drop a third.
Is that just a command in your chat now? You have blame wall and you have thanks futon.
Exactly. Yep.
But you now move to 1-1 of avoiding the gauntlet that would be 0-2 at this point. So you got to be feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah. Going 0-2. It's a tall order to win 6 straight Swiss matches to make it to a play-in for a chance to make it in brackets. So, avoiding the 0-2 is nice. Apologies in advance for the poor soul that has to play Bonta in the 0-2 bracket next week.
I mean, there are some lethal opponents at 0-2 because now Bonta's down there, DT is down there, and Gamer Cal all sitting at 0-2.
Goodness.
So it's a little terrifying.
Yes. I think I've determined that the end of a Crosskeys seed in a tournament race is the most stressful, because go mode to done is such a short amount of time that like that entire 5 minutes after I found the flippers, I was just constantly looking at the race channel.
That makes a lot of sense, because
compared
you don't
to
know.
like an open mode seed where you have like 20 minutes of go mode time before you get to Ganon probably.
That's true.
But yeah, this was a fun seed. I wish we had some better movement options early.
Mm-hmm.
But better save and quit points, I guess.
Yeah.
They weren't great.
Never like seeing your old man at the witch's house 30 seconds into the seed.
Yup. Yeah. And then like the back of old man wasn't terrible, but
it led to a dark
like
spot.
Yeah.
And it kind of became a moot point once you picked up Hammer Glove.
Yes. I felt pretty bad with Sea House specifically on Dark Old Death Mountain, and then immediately finding the Moon Pearl.
Yeah.
Thankfully, God, what spit me out in Turtle Rock entrance? Hyrule Castle. Thankfully, that spit me out there, because that was like the only other time I was going back up there was after Mirror, and so I was really worried about Sea House because I was not going back there for a long time until I got Mirror.
That's such a bad entrance if you have no way to Super Bunny, because there's just no enemies there.
Yup.
I
thought about trying to Lionel Super Bunny in that that waterfall fairy cave up there, but the only other, it takes so long to get the Lionels over there, and then if you mess up once, at least in my situation, you're just dead. So
I've seen you try it. It's pretty impressive.
I don't think it's ever worth it. But
it will one day. Don't worry.
God, that was a fun seed. GG's to Bonta. Unfortunate. Would the result have been different if the flippers weren't missed in Ice Palace?
Or
is it too hard to say because it was awkward?
Hard to say, because if Bonta gets flippers, I expect he full clear Swamp Palace, which is something you don't do. His go mode becomes the Mire Big on top of GT, and then he just needs to find back a desert, which when you have a million entrances in the Mire area, that's your first logical stop. So definitely hard to say.
Yeah.
It really would have been the time difference between a full clear swamp versus the time it took you to go from the Mire Big to flippers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did Bonta find the witch house anywhere?
Witch's Hut? That was you found that, didn't you, on Graveyard Ledge?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh yeah, I did find that. Yep, I forgot. I never marked it. I was like, I just marked it. I just pushed it out of my brain like I never found it.
The lamp was.
Oh yeah, I never found it. It was probably deeper in Ice Palace.
The lamp was in the Thieves Town attic.
Yeah.
Oh.
I couldn't tell you the logic behind that one, but.
Didn't want to go back there until I got a Thieves Town Small.
Yeah. Which was on Trinex, by the way.
Oh god. Wow, that sucks. Okay.
Alright. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I need to not miss boots for a third time in a row. That's the goal for my next round.
I believe in you.
Yeah, thanks for commentating, guys. Are you gonna make it a 3-for-3 streak next race, Wally?
I gotta say, shout outs to Clearmouse for saying, "Hey, you want to come with me?" I'm like, "Heck yes, let's do it." So we'll see. We'll see about going 3-for-3 next week. Although you're out of town for like forever, so I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, it'll be a next weekend kind of deal.
Well, GG's and good luck on your 1-on-1 matchup. It will not be me. Sorry.
Don't worry, we're destined. We're destined. You'll lose one of these races.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
if you haven't given these, in chat, if you haven't given Andy or Bonta a follow, please do so. Amazing runners, incredible people. Yeah, that's all I've got. Clearmouse, do you have any final thoughts, final things to say?
Not as much. Just kind of echoing some sentiments everyone's already expressed. It was actually a really great match. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Bonta. Put on a spectacular race for us to watch. We had many moments where the first try of everything just kept us on the edge of our seats, like so often. And it's just a really great, spectacular show. And obviously, high levels of execution, from both these runners. So, and of course, wall kicks. This was great. This was a lot of fun. Definitely was a good time.
We will need to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for our trackers. I definitely never want to forget you guys, Sammy Moss and Super Aardvark. Yeah, very, very important work that you guys do. Making sure that everything is up to date and keeping us honest. So thank you so much.
And of course, also thank you to both our commentators, Clearmouse and Wallkicks. Before we raid over to ZSR2, where we have the Ocarina of Time Randomizer weekly going right now, just a quick preview what's up next here on ZSR. At 9 PM Eastern, we have a Breath of the Wild any % weekly race, and at 10 PM Eastern, we have a Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup semifinals match between Zero Rush and Fant. For the rest of the weekend, for tomorrow, please check our schedule. We are filled with weeklies and many different tournament matches. And for me left to say, if you don't have any final remarks, it's only thank you very much for watching and see you next time here on ZSR.